message me if you are able to hear me. Hi Mona Lisa ma'am, are you able to hear me? Hi Gauri. Thank you Gauri. Feeling super excited. Just waiting for 2 more minutes to start off. So, hi Preeti, hi Rashmi. Thank you so much for joining in, girls. Not very clear. 1 second. Is it clear now? Okay, Gauri. Hi, Shakuntala ma'am. Great to see you, ma'am. So, 1 more minute to go. Let's see if anyone joins. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So it's 6:30. Shall I start, ma'am? Hi, Preeti. So I'm going to start off now. Welcome everybody. This is Rohini Jayanti. Welcome to Slumber Time Stories, brought to you by Chrysanthemum Chronicles, an international literary journal of prose and poetry, and a home to myriad writers and poets from across the globe. And this is an amazing event, Slumber Time Stories. It's a great opportunity to me to come in front of you and read my story. And there is something special about it. You know what it is? At the end of the story, I will select 3 winners who are going to win a book giveaway. That's very exciting, right? Yes. Hi, Harita. And you know, the first lucky winner would be getting Girl in a Million by Anita Padanittil. This is a wonderful book about friends and and their interestingly woven bonds, and it's all about the journey of a girl and how and why she becomes a girl in a million. And the second lucky winner will be getting another amazing book, Excess Baggage by Richa S. Mukherjee. Richa S. Mukherjee is a celebrated blogger, and this is a fun-loving book. It's full of love, emotions and relationships. And the third lucky winner would be getting another amazing book, Arising from the Dust. Yes, it's by Let's Make Stories Dino. It's an amazing collection of stories by 32 writers. And this book talks about embracing toughest situations in life and arising from those ashes during those tough times. That's very interesting, right? Yes. But how do you win all these books? There will be some pop quiz in between my story. And so, listen to my story very carefully, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel of Chrysanthemum Chronicles to watch some amazing literary content too. That is really an interesting part. So, here I am going with my story. Inferno. Yes, it's a fictional story, and I'm happy to say that this is one of the stories that I have written for Artoons in for a contest. And the story goes like this. The sun bloomed on the horizons that filled the sky with shades of orange and pink that reflected on each leaf and wisp of the cloud. The first strong rays of the sun touched the earth, bringing their true warmth. The trees became more powerful as the golden rays kissed them. Fresh air started whistling around, inviting the birds to soften the dawn with their morning melodies. Trees, creepers, and branches swung in the wind, greeting good morning to all their forest friends. The fragrance of flowers filled the whole forest, greeting a pleasant morning. "Mama, wait for me. I can't walk so fast," said Cooper, an year-old cute and cuddly fawn, the youngest in the herd, pulling a bamboo shoot from the side of the track. Cooper belonged to the family of red deer who lived in the mountain forests of Morocco, where majestic trees crowned the tops of the mountains. He was very curious about everything around him, and everything in the world interested him as he grew. Cooper's father, Roscoe, was very strong and intelligent, and so he always led the herd despite having seniors. And his mother, Ficus, was the most beautiful doe in the herd. Cooper's parents guarded him throughout their way, as he had so many things to explore, and he did not know the meaning of threat so far. It was their daily routine to move up to the hillside for grazing throughout the day and return to the deeper woods at night for their shelter. "This way, Cooper. Do not move away from the herd. You are not yet strong enough to fight an enemy," said his mother, covering him with her lightly built body as the herd slowly walked towards the stream. He, however, lingered hither, sometimes looking at his reflection in the water and sometimes rolling over on the cool, moist land by the side of the stream as the midday heat licked his tender body like a hot-blooded serpent. Suddenly, Cooper's friend Nimba, a 4-year-old stag, stepped out of the herd and moved close to Cooper as he laid on the cool grass. "Look up, Cooper," he said, poking Cooper's belly with his soft horns. Cooper looked up in excitement and saw the swarm of bumblebees that searched for honey and colorful butterflies that rested on the flowers for nectar. Nimba was Cooper's best friend and his foster brother. He was very protective of Cooper and took utmost care of him. Nimba's parents died in a tiger's attack when he was a baby, and he grew as one with the herd from then on. He always stayed with Cooper, and both played together, jumping, rolling, and poking each other with their soft antlers. "Stop jumping like that, Cooper. You are an annoying one," said his father, the male lead of the herd, moving his muscular body. He grinned at Cooper with his wide, spaced brown eyes as he saw him lifting his hoofs and jumping high at the swarm of bees. The other in the group looked at him disdainfully for his indecorous behavior. He walked quietly beside his mother, sometimes rushing and scaring the squirrels and the antelopes in his way, and sometimes pushing Nimba with his budding antlers. After a long day grazing, the herd finally stopped at the bench of the stream. He ate the small mushrooms that grew under the shady roof of the forest, watching the males and the females dancing at the edge of the stream. "Oh, what a beautiful day it is," he said to himself, looking at the sky which appeared like a dome of plasma blue. Suddenly, the beauty of the blue began to transform into dark grey. Dark clouds that looked like black rabbits started approaching close to the area. The weather turned sultry, and after some time, cool, gentle breeze touched Mother Earth. But as it grew, it became bold and started blustering. Cooper got up and ran towards his mother. "Mama, what are those in the sky?" he asked, hiding behind her. "They are clouds, Cooper. It may rain any time. Come, let's walk towards the wood," she said, pointing to the male lead of the herd. On the way, Cooper saw Mr. Bunny, the rabbit, trying to grab a mushroom in his mouth. "Mr. Bunny, can you fly in the sky like them?" he asked, pointing to the black clouds that appeared like black rabbits. "Oh, they are clouds, little one. It's going to rain. Move fast," he said, rushing into his burrow, holding the mushrooms. The huffing wind rose and the sound intensified. The sky grumbled restlessly. Suddenly it came like a rip in the dark night, the lightning. That bolt blanketed everything like a flash at once, followed by rumbling thunder, and the drops of rain pitted the surface like bullets as the herd was halfway through the woods. The herd scattered and ran for shelter under the trees. Drops of rain stung into Cooper's eyes as he looked up at it. He ran close to his mother's belly and stayed close to the warmth. "I'm tired of running, Mama. I want to rest here," said Cooper, moving nearer to the trunk of a tree. Suddenly, the wind started blowing up and warmness started spreading across in the middle of the night. Cooper's father smelt it differently. "I predict a commotion nearby. Let us all move towards the grasslands rather than going into the deep. He shouted at the herd and they started running out from the deep. But before then, roars and cries of animals started from the deep forest. The monkeys dangling from the trees began to shout vociferously. The entire area started transforming into flaming patchwork of colors. Scorching yellows and lava reds spread across. A thick black powder smeared all over the sky. The wind whirled, pushing the fire on and on. Birds started screeching and flew away. All animals started running. Shrill cries of the animals could be heard from a distance. The smallest animals burrowed into the ground or took over under the rocks. Everyone seemed to run towards the streams and lakes. The pines, the canopies, and even the mightiest trees turned to burnished browns. There were fiery tongues hissing, crashing, and howling. "It's not possible for us to move ahead. I could sense the fire advancing from the front," said Cooper's father, and he led the team towards the stream from behind the grasslands. "Mama, what is happening? Why are we running? I'm scared," cried Cooper, running close to his mother. "Don't worry, my son. I'm here to take care of you," said his mother, looking in fear for open fields. In the meantime, the flames came roaring, and fire swept to the forest from the downhills and moved upwards, leaping from tree to tree. Terror struck the herd as the flames surrounded them. The herd bellowed in fear, struggling to set themselves free. Suddenly, Nimba heard a creaking sound and looked up. A branch of a tree was about to fall down on Cooper. "Move aside, Cooper!" shouted Nimba as he pushed Cooper with his horns. Thud! The sound, followed by silence. Nimba was under the heavy burning branch and his body blackened within no time. For the first time, all of them stood mute. Cooper screamed in pain, holding his mother and hitting the ground with his forelimbs. "Come back, everyone. We have little time. Let us all head to the stream," said Roscoe, Cooper's father, looking at Ficus helplessly. But before they took a step forward, huge fire monsters rushed towards the herd in distress. They were the elephants. They dashed out directionless, only to run out of the flames. The air became too smoky to breathe, and it was scorching the skin. The entire place turned into smoking embers and charred bare trees. Everything around is gone. They could hardly see anything except hearing the sound of the flames. Cooper jumped back and forth in confusion whether to stay or flee. They got tired and exhausted in the struggle to escape. It was sunrise, and the fire halted, leaving an impression of bleak emptiness. Cooper slowly opened his eyes and looked around as the smoky air masked his face. The entire place was quiet except that of the crackling sound of the burnt wood. It smelled like a bonfire. Cooper stood on his tiptoes and looked around for his parents. Something was hurting, and he looked at it. His left leg was burnt. He didn't bother, but slowly walked around limping. There, at a distance, he could see his father with his chin rested on the ground. Amidst the bushes was his mother, who moved with a dawning sense of calmness. All of them, except his mother and few does, were dead, leaving their imprints on the smoldering ash. Cooper stood up as they approached him. They moaned in silence as their habitat has been destroyed. The storm cleared, welcoming the sunshine. Days passed by, giving birth to tiny buds of grass. Tiny little shoots popped out of the bare tree trunks. Little shrubs, bushes, and plants started to regrow. Several years passed, and a new life began. "Cooper, don't walk so fast. I can't reach you," said his mother from behind, as Cooper, the head of the herd, led them towards the grasslands for grazing. The sky turned black, and there was thunder and lightning. Cooper looked up and smiled, saying to himself that life doesn't stop for anyone, as now he understands what a lightning can change. That is the story, Inferno, a story of Cooper and his family in the forest. So now it's time for me to ask all of you some questions, and my questions are very simple and very easy, and you can just answer them in seconds. So now, hello Shweta, it's okay dear, hi Soumya, thank you so much for taking your time here, thank you so much. And now I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to make a note of it that who would be answering me the first, and I'll be giving the lucky winners prizes too. Shweta, you want me to read it? You can, no problem, I will give you a gift anyway, because you know you were the one who was waiting for my story, dear. It's okay, fine. So now the question 8 begins. How old was Cooper? You can just write your answer in the comment section so that I will make a note of it. How old was Cooper? Wow, Gauri, that's beautiful. Excellent and amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else? Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you so much. And wow, Shweta. To which family did Cooper belong to? That's so sweet of you, Shweta. Yes, Preeti. To which family did Cooper belong to? To which family of deer did he belong to? Yes, Rashmi is 1 year old is the correct answer. To which family did Cooper belong to? Oh wow, Gauri. Awesome. Oh, pretty awesome, dear. Shweta. It's right. Cooper belongs to the red deer family. Excellent. Good students. And the third question is, where did Cooper live with his family? Wow. Where did Cooper live with his family? Oh, amazing, pretty. Great, dear. Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Harita, for joining in. Gauri, right? It's Morocco. Excellent. Cooper lived in the mountain forests of Morocco. Gauri, Shweta is expecting a faster answer from you, dear, so that she can just copy and paste it. Of course, Mona Lisa ma'am, of course you can. It's a privilege to me, in fact. You can answer. Is there any delay? Are you experiencing any delay in the questions? Thank you so much, Preeti, for telling me that. Okay, the next question goes like this. Cooper's father's name and mother's name. Yes, Rashmi, here is your question. Cooper's father's name and mother's name. Oh, pretty amazing. You proved to be a professor. Oh, wow. It is Roscoe and Ficus. Amazing. Gauri, it's Roscoe and Ficus. It's really interesting, asking questions to such sweet people. Lovely. And now this is a very simple question. Rashmi, you can answer this. You wanted the names, right? Who was Cooper's friend? Who was Cooper's friend? Okay, Gauri. Wow, Preeti again. Wow, Gauri again. Determined and dedicated to back the prices, you guys. Yeah, Rashmi, it's Ficus and Roscoe. Yeah, Shweta, now you're going to pakka get a gift from me because you said I'm Cooper's friend. Yes, Cooper is my best friend, Wow, Mona Lisa ma'am, super. Lovely. Wow, Shakuntala ma'am, lovely. I think I have to buy a big box of gifts now. For sure, I would do it. Amazing, Rashmi. Yes, it's Nimba. Awesome. Now, who killed Nimba's parents? Very simple questions, you can just very easy, very simple. You might have not got such easy questions even in your school examinations. Who killed Nimba's parents? Wow, super, Preeti. Anybody else? Who killed Nimba's parents? Yes, Shweta, there was a murder. Yes, Mona Simam, Gauri and Preeti, two best students in the class. And now another question. Sure, Shweta. How did the black clouds appear to Cooper? Yes, Rashmi, it's tiger, right? How did the black clouds appear to Cooper? How did the black clouds appear to Cooper? Wow, right again. It's amazing. Yes, Gauri, right. How easy life would be if I have students like this in my class. Like, the moment I narrate them a story or explain them a concept, tak, 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 tak. Monalisa ma'am, you're on the race now. Yes, ma'am. Super. Guys, another student joined you. Be careful. And what came like a rip in the dark night and hit the forest? What came like a rip in the dark night and hit the forest? Wow. Love you, Preeti. Love you for your answer. I'm so happy, sir. Wow, Shweta, this time you are there, right here. Very good, Shweta. Good girl. Okay. Wow, Gauri again. You guys are fighting now. Okay. Now here we go. What were those huge... Yes, Mona Lisa ma'am, you're again. Lightning, it's right. What were those huge fire monsters that rushed towards the herd? What were those huge fire monsters? Yes, ma'am, Kanakagiri. Shakuntala ma'am, it's lightning. Yes, you're right. It's lightning that hit. Elephants. Wow, elephants. It's elephants. Yes, it's elephants, Rashmi. Yes, Gauri, it's elephants. Awesome. And we are coming to the last question. Tick, 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 tick. What did Nimba see when he heard a crackling sound amidst the fire and looked up? Yes, Mona Lisa ma'am, it's elephant. And I repeat the last question. What did Nimba see when he heard a crackling sound amidst the fire and looked up? Lightning is for the last answer, Rashmi. Elephants, yes, Shakuntala ma'am, you're right. Exactly, exactly. Yes, exactly. Excellent, Preeti. Amazing. Gauri. That was really super awesome. I really enjoyed, in fact. Yes, 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 Mona Lisa ma'am. You are in the race now. So that is the end of the pop quiz. So Preeti and Gauri both say, A burning tree branch. Even Shweta wants to say that. Yes, Rashmi, it was elephants. The huge fire monsters were elephants. Rashmi, I'm sorry, there might be a delay at your end, so you are hearing the questions a bit late. You were giving correct answers, but there was a delay, might be at your end. I'm sorry for that. And so, the session has finally come to an end. Slumber Time Stories by Chrysanthemum Chronicles. It was an amazing evening spending time with all of you. Thank you so much, Monalisa Joshi ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity, and all my lovely friends who have taken all your time, despite your busy schedules. I know all of you, most of you are working. I know some were having some works at home, but still, yes, very studious child you are. I know, Shweta. So good, so good. And the 3 lucky winners are, the first one goes to Preeti Warrior. That was amazing, Preeti. And Preeti is going to get the book Girl in a Million from me by Anita Padanittal. That was amazing. Congratulations, Preeti. And the second lucky winner for today's evening is Gauri Bhargav. Wow, Gauri. And she's going to get Excess Baggage by Richa S. Mukherjee. Wonderful, wonderful. And the third prize we are going to give to none other than Monalisa Joshi ma'am for, fighting and trying to win over the others and giving all the wonderful answers and, staying with me all the time. Thank you so much, ma'am. You're going to get Rising from the Dust anthology, and it's a privilege to me to give you this book because I'm also a part of it. My story is also there in that book. Lovely. So, ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending this evening with me and making this event very memorable, very precious. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shakuntala ma'am, Rashmi, Shweta, Sonal for joining in. Gauri, Shakuntala ma'am, in fact, I would like to give gifts to everybody. I'm crying, in fact, now. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Rashmi, so that's so sweet of you, Rashmi. Then in that case, I would be giving you also, with your permission, Monalisa ma'am, I would also like to give a book to Rashmi because she knew all the answers, but there was a delay at her end. If you say yes, I would also like to give a book to Rashmi. Another book, Rising from the Dust anthology. What do you say, Monalisa ma'am? Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining in. That was lovely. Okay, girls. Had great fun. Love you all. See you another time with such amazing stories on Chrysanthemum Chronicles, and waiting for many more Slumber Time stories from you, Monalisa Joshi ma'am. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and so bye-bye. Congratulations, everybody. Hello.